I think I am being streamed. So thank you for joining, and I appreciate your patience. It depends on where you're joining from across the globe. It could be night, like it is here in Ontario, Canada. It could be morning, evening, afternoon. I just want to appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for this important session where I will be updating you on upcoming very important changes made by the Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada, PEBC, to the evaluating exam blueprint. I'm going to be talking about the pass rates. I'm going to be talking about success strategies for pharmacists, the opportunities that are available in the job market, as well as wealth building strategies for you. So for those of you who have never met me before, my name is 𝐏𝐻𝐬𝐬𝐬. I am the CEO and founder of Immigrant Pharmacist. I am also a coach, speaker, and an award-winning pharmacist mentor. I have been licensed in 3 jurisdictions, firstly in Jamaica, then in Alberta, and here in Ontario, Canada. And so it is a pleasure for me to bring my insights to you guys, and this will hopefully be something that will be game changing for you and help you to move the needle on your journey to getting relicensed here in Canada. So, if you don't know my backstory about getting relicensed, 5 years ago, almost, I'm a month shy of 5 years, I moved as a permanent resident to Canada from Jamaica in the middle of winter. Now, imagine moving from a tropical country to Canada. Hello. And I relicensed that year. I started my internship actually and got relicensed by summer of 2021. So I've been licensed in Canada for 3.5 years, been in practice for 4+ years. That's an amazing accomplishment. And so it gives me great joy to share some of the insights I have and also some of the tips and strategies and the tools that will work for you in your relicensing journey. So welcome again. Appreciate you being here. This will be an important session for my international pharmacy graduate colleagues. And my goal is at the end of this session is that you will have actionable insights that are clear and specific for you. That's going to help you navigate relicensing, get you clear on establishing or reestablishing or relaunching your career, as well as, getting resettled and reintegrated in the healthcare system here. So I did promise earlier that I would have touched on the upcoming changes with regards to the evaluating exam blueprint. And I think a lot of international pharmacists, especially who are not graduates from the United States, and know with interesting changes in Eastern or Atlantic provinces where persons from Ireland, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand can relicense without navigating the exam pathway. This is not applicable to those persons, but for everyone outside of those jurisdictions, there will be some important changes for the PEBC starting with the June evaluating exam, the summer evaluating exam. So we've seen where previously, and this is since 2015 when the curriculum was revised, during that time, the entry requirement in pharmacy here in Canada was at a Bachelor of Pharmacy level. Right now, all of those courses and programs have been phased out, and some of these courses are no longer offered in the entry-level doctoral program. They're offered as prerequisites to get into pharmacy. So we've seen where the exam blueprint was weighted at 15%, including the biomedical sciences. So courses like your biochem and your medical microbe, those were 15% of the total exam blueprint. And for the pharmaceutical sciences, including like medchem, pharmacology, and those courses that we love so much during pharmacy school, those accounted for 25% of the evaluating exam from 2015 up until this month. There's a PEBC exam that's upcoming this January. I hope you guys are well prepped and ready to go. And so we've gone 40%, 50% of the evaluating exam was about pharmacy practice. So programs that were included, and this was broken down into 2 areas as well. The 50% pharmacy practice had 35% clinical sciences and 15% professional practice. And so, things like health promotion, disease prevention, counseling of patient, drug information, literature review, that sort of thing. And then another 10% was behavioral, social, and administrative pharmacy science. So we're talking about management, which I know some of y'all don't like management. There was marketing, workplace safety, healthcare systems, that sort of thing. That was the previous blueprint. What has happened is that because there's no longer a bachelor's program and persons need to complete the biomedical stuff before they get into the doctoral program, the PBC has decided, and there are no longer bachelor programs in Canada. They've decided to completely remove the biomedical sciences from the exam blueprint to now accurately reflect what's happening with the current PharmD curriculum. So PharmD, or Doctor of Pharmacy, is a terminal degree, right? So what they've done, they've said, okay, in order to get into the PharmD, you have to do the basic stuff. So they've removed that from the PharmD exam. I've seen where all the faculties here in Canada, that's all the pharmacy schools, they've completely transitioned to the entry-level PharmD to better align with current practice expectations. So this is what creates the distinction from the qualifying exam, is just how the exams will be administered at the evaluating level. So what is the current blueprint? There is still a 25% pharmaceutical sciences, so that hasn't changed. Pharmacy practice increased from 50 to 55%. So there was a 5% increase in covering all the pharmaceutical sciences, which covers a wide array of topics, including clinical sciences and professional practice. And then the behavioral, social, and administrative pharmacy, it's no longer weighted at 10%, it's now 20%. So I hope that is resonating, that's connecting. One of the other major changes that will take effect for the June 2025 evaluating exams is that the amount of questions on the exams will decrease from 150 to 140 questions. And each section of the exam will be 70 questions, and each candidate will get 84 minutes to answer the question. That's 1.2 minutes to answer the question. Now, a little bit of backstory. When I did the evaluating exams back in 2016, that's how I know time's moving fast, the exam was completely different. So what you guys have to expect is that there will be changes as you are pursuing your relicensing. The exam blueprint was, I think it was the same weight as from 2015 up until now, but the exam was 300 questions and it was administered over 2 days, and there was no opportunity like now to do the exam proctored. So in 2016, you either had to travel to Toronto, not to Toronto, but to Canada. I did mine in Toronto, that's why I'm saying Toronto. You had to travel to Canada to complete the exams over 2 days, or travel to the UK to complete the exam over 2 days. They had one site outside of Canada, and that was based in the UK. I'm saying this to say that you guys have an amazing opportunity to stay in your home country and do these evaluating exams. The only thing you need to do is to prepare yourself accordingly. And I'm going to be sharing openly, like strategies you can use, how you can prepare yourself well for the exam. And I'm not going to make this live very long. I just want to get to the point that 300 question down to 200, down to 150 for the October exam, it's going to 140. And some persons may be saying, and you may be asking yourself, or even assuming that know that there are less questions and you have to study such broad topics if the exam gets harder. And I dare to say that everything in this life is challenging. We just need to get better at lifing. We need to get better at doing the stuff. We need to become the sort of person who can master this thing. If for any reason you have attempted the evaluating exam but you were unsuccessful, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It means that you have not yet mastered this thing, or you haven't yet become the kind of person who could, I could say easily, that would be an overstatement. You could become the kind of person who could navigate this challenge seamlessly. So again, there are no biomedical sciences. Pharmaceutical sciences now up 5% to 55. The pharmacy practice sorry, pharmaceutical science is 25%. The pharmaceutical practice is now 55%, and then 20% is for behavioral, social, and administrative pharmacy. I hope you guys are taking notes. If I'm going too fast, please go back to watch the replay and get your pens and notes, or you could visit the PBC website. That's where you actually go to get all the latest updates on these exams. A shorter exam, updated blueprint, and the exam will also be offered 4 times per year, right? So you need to just stay ahead of the curve. You need to keep abreast of what's happening because the changes are rapid. And you need to be able to prepare yourself very well. If you do not prepare well, following the blueprint, following a success pathway, following a success strategy, as my friend said, you could walk to a door and doors, like you could be at a door and the doors open. Unless you walk through the door, you won't know what's inside. So when I prepared for EE back then, I self-prepared. I didn't know then what I know now. Now I do not recommend for anyone to do self-preparation. I mean, if you feel like modern day Albert Einstein, kudos to you. By all means, do your self-preparation. What I do recommend is that success leave clue. And if it's not broken, we don't try to fix it. So get yourself into a program, a prep course where they've updated the information and you have a streamlined pathway. You have a curriculum that you're following, you have a timetable that you're following. And for me, the gold standard here in Canada is through PharmAchieve. No, this is not a paid ad. This is not, because I believe in their product and I see the results that they've created for my clients. I didn't complete EE through them, but I did complete MCQ through PharmAchieve. So if you don't know what PharmAchieve is, go and check them out. All right, so moving right along. The pass rate for the exams. This is a sore point, and so many international grads are coming into this thing unaware of what's happening and what the statistics look like. So right now, between January 2021 to this summer, the PharmAchieve's calling my name, the PEBC gathered statistics, and they've seen where the pass rate for the evaluating exam has significantly declined. The pass rate is less than 40%. It's actually only 36%. Now, just for perspective and context, there are 195 countries globally. Canada is only one country. And of the other 194, for every person who's attempted to pass this exam since 2021, only 36% of people pass. And my personal belief is that international pharmacist graduates who are doing the evaluating exam, they're taking the exams too lightly. They're not following a proven pathway. They're not following a timetable, a disciplined pathway, because you may be working, you may be working hard, you might have a family, you might be doing further studies. Many of you come to Canada as international students, which I 100% do not recommend unless you have no other pathway to Canada. The amount of time that you invest in doing a course or a program in Canada that's not necessarily going to propel your career relaunch is just wasted energy, and paying over money to institutions just so that you could get a certificate to say that you're educated in Canada. The PBC doesn't care about your postgraduate diploma or certification. I'm not saying PBC, I'm just saying this in general, because it doesn't contribute to your career relaunch. And I feel like those are some of the contributing factors to those low pass rates, because the reality is when you come to Canada, you're focused on staying in your course, passing those exams. So hopefully you'll get a postgraduate work permit or something. But you also have to be adulting, doing adult stuff, go to work, take care of your responsibilities, honoring your financial obligation. And still, you have to prepare for these exams with all those topics that we've seen in the blueprint. And you may have to pay for a prep course and factor that into your weekly schedule. So my advice to you guys would be to make intentional decision about your career and your future, right? Those pass rates are not looking good. They are quite dismal, and they just do not support your goals. So my advice would be to channel your energy and your financial resources into following a proven pathway, a blueprint that can help you to succeed in your exams. Do we offer Coaching and mentorship help persons to craft a personalized strategy and a roadmap for them to get this thing, like get the results that they're looking for, which everybody's looking for a path. Sure, at Immigrant Pharmacists, we do offer that kind of support. And it's not just about your knowledge, it's also about building the habits and sticking to the plan. It's about building the habits and sticking to the plan. So I'm not going to belabor the point. The point I'm making is without awareness that the statistics are so low, you may think this exam is a walk in the park. And so you treat it like you may have treated one of those courses you did in pharmacy school. And I'm telling you that that does not work for the PEBC. Also, it's a disservice to yourself and your future. If you think you're going to what we call SWOT, like do some last minute preparations and go and wing it in the exam, thinking that that's going to just get you a pass so that you can move on to the next phase is actually going to hurt your relaunch process because the qualifying exams are no jokes. They are no walk in the park. And especially if you've had a bachelor's degree and now Canada's moved to a PharmD level kind of thinking. You have to think more clinical. You have to think more strategically and how you can apply this in the real world setting in order for you to get the best value out of your preparation for your exam, right? So I'm just going to double check to see if you guys have any questions that you left in the. Am I seeing myself live on here? Maybe. Oh, yeah, I'm live. Awesome. Okay. I wasn't sure because I went live for like 5 minutes and no one saw that live and I didn't get the audio. Okay. So do we have any questions? So I touched on the evaluating exam blueprint. I've touched briefly on the pass rate, what the current statistics are, and how if you do not plan properly, I have an adage that said proper prior preparation prevent poor performance. If you plan and you apply yourself, you will get the results that you're looking for so that you can celebrate like some of my clients and I can help you to do the celebration as well, right? And I know the numbers can be a little bit intimidating, but isn't it better if you guys are aware of what the numbers say so that you can ensure that you're in the top 25 percentile that pass on first attempt? Or if you've already were not successful, then in your second attempt, you did extremely well. Isn't it better if you are aware of what the statistics say so that you don't rest on your laurels and instead you give it your all, right? Navigating the exam will require us to shift our mindset, knowing that success is possible with the right strategies, like if you employ the right strategies, and also channeling the focus on the past. I've spoken to too many international pharmacists who are already counting themselves out saying, well, the exam has a low pass rate, or what if I fail? What if you fly? What if you pass? If you do what you need to do, what if you get a coach or a mentor or find a study group or a study buddy or get into a program that holds you accountable? It's not just about knowledge, it's also about accountability and showing up for yourself and your future. And just for a little bit of insights, for every 6 months that your licensing or your relicensing is delayed, you're potentially leaving $50 to $100,000 on the table. And that's a fact, right? So, what are some of the study strategies that I would recommend for um, international pharmacists and also for domestic pharmacists? If you're a pharmacist in Canada, then this may also be applicable to you. What are some of the study tools? What are some of the resources that I'd recommend? Um, what should you be focusing on? Like what technique? And first, I love to talk about this. I love to talk about bringing your commitment with you. If you feel like you have choices, you will be winging it, being double-minded. If you know that this is the only decision, this is the only way, then you're going to make a firm decision and you're going to cut everything else out. So I've told my clients, I'm like, well, unfortunately, like once you immerse yourself in this process, once you've made that firm decision to get relicensed in Canada, now you are wedded to the PEBC. It will take a considerable amount of your time, but if you plan strategically, if you plan and you manage your tasks and you manage your expectations, then you will win, right? I talk about doing the hardest task first thing throughout the day. And this is also applicable to me because when you're a professional and you're working, you have family obligation and so many things are vying for your attention, including social media, then you tend to get your mental bandwidth depleted halfway throughout the day. By the time you get home in the evening, there's not enough time for you to give some energy to studying. Or even if you do give energy, you may not be in that state of flow where you're absorbing the information. So I do recommend that you develop a study timetable and you stick to that timetable and create new habits and new routine, right? Do a time audit. A time audit is knowing that we each get 168 hours per week. Like literally sit and write out all the things you do or for how long you do them, and you'll see how much extra time you have. So here's a practical example. If you know that you work an 8 hour shift, I'm going to say 8 hours. Many people in Canada work for more than 8 hours. Some have 2 and 3 jobs, especially if they're assistants and they need to make all this money to fund their lifestyle in Canada because it's not cheap. But let's say on average you work for 8 hours. If you work 5 days per week, that's 40 hours gone. Let's say you sleep for 8 hours. That's another 40 hours gone. Let's say you commute for 2 hours each day, because that's not unreasonable for some people. That's 10 hours out of your week. So already you've gone 90 hours. You haven't factored in, getting dressed. You haven't factored in taking your kids to school or whatever the case is. You haven't factored in the second job. You haven't factored in the study time and the time that you're awake, and divide it by 7. Like you need to figure out what you're spending your time to do, a time audit, see where you're wasting time. You're also supposed to factor in the amount of time that you are on social media scrolling. I see you guys. Hello, you're following me. And I mean, I give a lot of information, but at some point you'll have to decide where you want to stay because it's not fair to you to be in 10 Facebook groups or 37. I've seen some people in 30 groups. I'm like, mm-mm. You're going to be distracted by all the notifications that are coming in, the emails, the changing requirements of work. Try to manage your tasks. Here's another practical tool. You need to manage your stress levels because, yes, stress and fear are first cousins. If you are stressed, you will not be relaxed. You will not be in that state of flow that I mentioned earlier. And there is a technique called the Pomodoro technique that some persons use when they want to get focused work in. So it basically means that you set an alert for 25 minutes and you work consistently, focused for 25 minutes, and then you take a 5 minute break. And during that 5 minutes, you can go for a walk, a stroll, grab some water or something. So you could do that in cycles. One of the things I had recommended, this was for someone when they're like, oh, I just can't relax. My mind is racing. I'm anxious. I'm having anxious thoughts. I just want to quote like Philippians, do not be anxious. But anyway, you need to get first things first, you need to stop telling yourself stories about what you are and what you aren't, because that's only going to perpetuate. And I'm not dismissing how you feel. I'm saying the reason a lot of persons are anxious is because they don't have positive anticipation about the outcomes in their lives, their careers, their businesses. So we need to channel that energy into actionable steps we can take to grow our confidence so that we don't have the anxiety, like setting a schedule so that you're studying so that you feel more prepared, and that will eliminate the anxiety. But one of the things you could do is, and this is a hack that I myself have used before. If I want to get into a space where I'm focused, I could go on brain.fm. I just go YouTube or Google and I listen to some sounds that actually get your brain into a different state, because your brain goes through different brain waves like alpha and beta. Alpha is the brain wave that will make you feel anxious. You need to be in like beta, not beta. Yeah, you could do beta, but you ideally want to be in theta. you want to get your brain relaxed, and listening to like waterfalls or pit pit pattern of the raindrops or anything like that, that can help you to get into a more meditative state and practice meditation and journaling. So many people have a lot of stuff up in their heads, never writing them out, and you fill up your mental queue. Just like release them. Release them, write it down, get it out on paper, and just save yourself, right? And again, for the exams, I do recommend that persons do a prep course. And I'm 100% recommending for persons who are audiovisual learners the Pharma Chief Prep course. So many persons are holding on to $1,000 or $2,000, how much ever the course costs. I don't know. I haven't been on their website in a long time. Not realizing that when you fall in the statistic among the 64% of persons who fail the exam, you've lost $100,000 or 60,000 or $50,000 by not investing $1,000 or $2,000 in yourself, right? So it's about that, having that kind of mind shift and that kind of perspective. And let me just tell you about one of my clients who she came to Canada as a student pursuing graduate diploma in one of the pharmaceutical science. And she was working part time, attending school, and also studying for the exams. And they followed the strategies and the exam prep tips. And we had weekly meetings when I did one on one coaching. Now I do group, but we had and kept her focused, not in 10 different random Facebook group asking random questions of random people who sometimes don't know what they're talking about, because you need to get information and insights from people who are further along the success journey than yourself, right? In Jamaica, we say a blind cannot lead a blind. That is one of the cheat codes to getting to your destination. Another thing is also fortifying yourself and just reading stuff that are going to uplift you, positive affirmations, um, read a book that's going to help stimulate your mind, do your exercise that's going to help you to build capacity, that's going to help you to build that memory muscle. That was one of my cheat codes, to be honest. I had a personal trainer and I was in the gym like 5 days per week prior to me moving to Canada in 2020 when there was a COVID pandemic. And I felt like that sustained me right throughout the exam. I was so clear, like I can remember the concepts that were taught in my program. It was just vivid in my mind. So I do recommend that. Moving right along. So we're talking about market opportunities for pharmacists. Right now, there's a critical shortage of pharmacists in Canada. I've seen it right across provinces and even in territories, right? Um, I recently got a job offer in Yukon. I see job offers in Yukon. I don't know if Yukon was made for me, but the point I'm making is they need pharmacists there. There's a critical need for pharmacists in provinces like Alberta and BC, British Columbia and Alberta. And these are the places where I see the most lucrative travel pharmacist opportunities, if I'm being 100% honest, being like a product of that sort of thing. So those are some of the hot spots, and especially in the oil patches and closer to the gold mines. Yes, they have oil patches here in Canada, and yes, they have gold mines. And those cities tend to attract a lot of ambitious, driven people who are really just looking for one jobs, because not many people want to move rural. Rural is the way to go, but they now have more spending power, to be honest. So provinces like BC, Alberta, the boomers are retiring. There's a lot of people filling up the nursing home. So there are opportunities for persons to become consultants in long-term care facilities or work in telepharmacy where you're working remotely. It's not very popular, but it is possible. And I've seen I know pharmacists who work remotely from home. They literally can work from anywhere they travel to do that as well. So, so many opportunities. There's not enough inventory of pharmacists. So, if you were to successfully follow success strategies, follow success principles, and pass your relicensing exam, it means that you're going to be in the money flow. And that's a fact, right? There are so many opportunities for growth in your career, for expansion, for taking on expanded scope like there is right now across Canada. Alberta and Nova Scotia have the widest scope of practice, and Ontario is coming to come, right? So there are so many opportunities, and retail is just the lowest hanging fruit. It's the quickest way to make money, but it's not the only way, because you guys know, like I know, that pharmacy is a very dynamic profession, right? So there's a current demand. There's a regional demand in areas like I said, in the hotspots, in the oil patches. And so one of my favorite things to do, and what I recommend for some of my clients as well, is to move out of your comfort zone and travel to areas where your services and your expertise are not just wanted but needed, and and you are respected as a proficient professional. So I do recommend like travel pharmacist contract, because that's like one of the easiest way to make more money in the shortest possible time, right? And also, travel pharmacist gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility in terms of you determining your schedule. And it also provides a lot of career fulfillment. You go across provinces or in rural cities or towns, and you meet amazing people. You network with new staff members, so you expand your professional network. Um, and you make significant contribution to the healthcare system in Canada. It's a win-win-win. It's a win for you, the pharmacist. It's also a win for the patients and the community, and it is a win for the pharmacy owners who you partner with and collaborate in the delivery of care, right? So travel pharmacist is just one of those areas of pharmacy where, yeah, you can get in on a six figures contract in 6 months. Like you could if you follow some of these tools and insights, you can rapidly relicense, and then you can double, triple, quadruple, I don't know, you can increase your income fast, right? So this requires strategic career planning. It will require you to have some insights that are not found on Dr. Google search, right? And I'm going to be sharing more inside our masterclass, which will be on Saturday, January 18, and we're starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to leave the link below this video, so make sure you click the link, register, and call all your pharmacist friends and cousins and neighbors. And let's have a great time in masterclass, so where you can learn how you can earn 5 figures per month contract, make 6 figures in 6 months. You can land multi 6 figure contract for the year, right? So this segue into me talking about the mission to a million, where you can leverage your license, leverage the tools that you have available to you, leverage the skills and the expertise that you have to build wealth for you and your family. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through lucrative travel contracts, right? I remember back in even this past September, I worked as a travel pharmacist part time. It was just for them, like, there were so many amazing things that happened that month. Made 5 figures for the month while building my business, my consulting business. So it's not an either or, it's a both and kind of situation, where you can use your license in Canada to unlock financial freedom for you and your family, right? And that's just one of many ways. You can talk about having additional streams of income. You're talking about becoming a consultant. You can start your own coaching program. Like I've seen new pharmacists here in Canada are doing the same thing. You can start um, by owning your own pharmacy or operating a pharmacy. As per the Pharmacy Act in Canada, only a licensed pharmacist can actually own a pharmacy legally. So unless they were like pharmacy owners and franchises way back when. But currently, you have to be a pharmacist to own a pharmacy. And if you know the thing and you have the skills and you have the expertise and you get the support and the coaching, business support, you could always do that. That's another way to increase your income within pharmacy and also beyond. So one of the things that I'm most excited about inside our program, the Immigrant Pharmacist Program, we're talking about the Millionaire Pharmacist Blueprint. It's how it helps pharmacists to achieve some of these amazing results that I've spoken about. We're talking about your roadmap to making $1 million. We're talking about international pharmacists scaling their income exponentially. We're talking about earning $1 million in 4 to 5 days, all while having adventure and having autonomy. It's about taking that intentional step to becoming your own, I would call it your own ATM, but you're not actually the ATM, but you are, in a sense, you are the driver, you are the force behind everything that unfolds in your career and in your finances. So, an example is just making a multi six figure income, which is possible, whether you're a new grad, old grad, upcoming grad, eventually you'll get there. Some persons will take 10 years, some will take 12. Others can take less than that. It could be 4, it could be 5. If good fortune hits you, it could be less than that. You could become a millionaire tomorrow, right? Buy a lottery ticket, but you're more likely to become a millionaire using your tools of leverage, leveraging that license that you already have, your skills and your clinical experience, and negotiating some of these lucrative travel contracts. And now, how you can even multiply that income is after securing these high paying contracts, you can use the extra income to invest in like real estate or starting a side business, a side hustle, they call it. Um, and one of the ways you can do this is through networking. You can start networking. They say your network is your net worth. And also just keep developing yourself, working on advancing your knowledge, working on improving and getting any sort of certification that you need that's going to help you to get, that's going to be like the bridge between where you are and where you want to go, but not necessarily coming to Canada as a student and paying exorbitant international fees, and then only to find out that you still have to go through all the processes that I've spoken about, right? So I don't know if you guys have any questions. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will answer them. And if you have, any concerns about getting relicensed, any challenges with navigating the exams, what the job market looks like, if for any reason you have any questions surrounding those, then feel free to send me a DM. Ensure that you share the link so that you and your friends and your colleagues can sign up for masterclass where I'll have more time to share more insights with you. I'm going to be providing actionable steps that's going to inspire confidence in your journey. And this is not only for international graduates. If you are already a licensed pharmacist in Canada, the roadmap to $1 million is also applicable to you. So feel free to reach out. And I think I have basically covered all the different things I promised that I would touch on, which included the new changes to the PEBC. I've spoken about the pass rates, what those look like, and what this means. It doesn't mean you're not brilliant. It absolutely means you need to shift your mindset and approach this exam with a new strategy that's going to help you to overcome these hurdles. I spoke about success strategies. Yes, those are the tools that's going to help you to ace your exams. I talked about the opportunities that are available in the Canadian job market. Um, Speaking of which, I have an opportunity for a pharmacist. You know what's so funny, guys? When you put yourself out there, opportunities will come knocking at your door. A recruitment company in the US, not Canada, in the US, gave me a job offer for Alaska. And I said, "Are you aware that I'm licensed in Canada, not the US?" They're like, "Oh, I didn't realize." It's a travel pharmacist. But if you know any pharmacists in the US doing travel, I'm sharing this to say that opportunities will come looking for you once you get licensed successfully and put yourself out there. So I've spoken about the opportunities in the job market and how you can transform your six figures career, how you can nail how you can log on to 5 figure per month opportunities, how you can get a 6 figure, multi 6 figure role, annual role, and how you can make 7 figures or $1 million in 4 to 5 years. I know it's 100% possible because I have the evidence, right? And so immigrant pharmacists help international pharmacists successfully navigate this relicensing process, help them to permanently relocate if you require immigration support. We do have an amazing partnership with a reputable law firm here in Canada. And we also help you to navigate the job market so that you can become the wealthiest, healthiest version of yourself here in Canada. So that's all for now. I know I gave you more than a mouthful. Some of you probably didn't expect this live to go on this long, and that's okay. Just leave me a comment. Let me know what points resonated with you, what you'd like to hear more about, and I'll share the link for masterclass so you can join us and learn how you can transform your $1 million career, because your career awaits. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the time that you spent with me. Um, be sure to send me a DM if you have any questions. Be sure to sign up for masterclass, and remember that your dream career in Canada is possible. It's 100% possible with determination, but also having the right support, the right tools. And we learn best in community, whether we agree to this or not. We need quietude or solitude to think and get clear and intentional, but we grow faster in community. So find your tribe, and I wish you all the very best for your career relicensing journey here in Canada. Again, my name is 𝐏𝐻𝐸. I am the CEO and founder of Immigrant Pharmacist. I help international pharmacists successfully relocate, relicense, and relaunch in Canada. I am also the founder of Millionaire Pharmacist. I am a coach, a career relaunch strategist, a speaker, and an award-winning pharmacist mentor. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys soon. All right. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Bye. because we had actually started the live earlier and I had to exit and I'm restarting. Sorry about that. So if you see me looking down on my phone, please, I apologize in advance. I'm just checking that my LinkedIn Live is streaming properly and you guys are seeing me and or hearing me. No, yes, maybe. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not seeing the live stream right now, but it's fine.